Building Ideas is proudly brought to you by the Master Builders Association.
We got ideas,
Building ideas,
a whole new direction.
building ideas,
It's time for change.
building ideas,
Dreaming is over.
building ideas,
Building ideas, gonna build it from the heart. Gonna show you how to make a start. We got ideas, building ideas. You want some building ideas? We got some building ideas.
Hi everyone, I hope you're ready for a real treat today because we're going to be showing this amazing brand new masterpiece built by the master himself, Alan Shepard, and his professional team. And don't you just love the stunning first impression? It's striking, but it's not too imposing. And when you have a look at the clean lines, it just adds to that simplicity of style. If you like it from the outside, well, wait till I take you in. It is absolutely gorgeous, and I'm going to show you through the entire home. The brief was for a low-maintenance, secure, private, luxurious home to accommodate a retired couple and visiting family. Minimalism with a contemporary Australian feel was a key design aspect, and this has been achieved throughout the entire home, both internally and to the home's facade. The clients were involved in all aspects of the design and construction of their beautiful home. The team at Alan Shepard Constructions, under the guidance of Alan, continue to build some of South Australia's most elegant and prized residences. As I mentioned, we're going to showcase this home throughout today's program and also highlight some of its special features that really do take it to that next level. It's quite exciting. And don't you love the all-white facade that's been beautifully accented with the grey tones? It's very simple and understated, and yet also elegant and sophisticated. Oh, I could rave about this home all day, but this is what else we have on today's show. We'll see the impact women are having on the building and construction industry. Terry looks at the merits of building a new home using true core steel frames, and we'll talk about the importance of waterproofing wet areas correctly. Lots of handy and important information there. Now, you might not think that waterproofing and framing sounds all that exciting, but they're just two of many important elements that you need to consider and get right to make your building project a success. And even more importantly, stand the test of time. And that's exactly what Alan Shepard Constructions have done with this amazing home. Right from the excavation through to the digging of the foundations and the pouring of the slab, this residence was always going to be a successful and even noteworthy building project. Its gross floor area covers some 414 square metres, and the end result is this sharp, strong, unique residence which has undoubtedly exceeded the owner's expectations. Whilst I could keep raving about this beautiful home, it's time to get on with the show. It's over to Terry.
What an amazing home that Alan Shepard designed and built home is. I'm a little green with envy. It has all of the bells and whistles, which raises the question, what are some of the more important bells and whistles to add to your home? Well, considering we live in one of the most sunniest places in the country, most of the time, I think solar panels would be a good start. There's a huge array of solar panel systems available on the market today, so settling on the right one for your needs is really important. But, like most things, knowing where to start can be the trickiest part. There are several aspects you should consider. How much electricity do you use in your home, and when do you use it? How many panels should you buy? What's the direction and angle of your roof? And do you need a battery? We're on the rooftop here of the state-of-the-art Tonsley campus for TAFE SA, and the experts in solar right here can tell us all we need to know, including the education that they can provide. Clive, what options are available for consumers when they're going to choose their solar panels?
Well, from my point of view, start off with how much can I afford? And once you've got your budget sorted out, a number of things that need to be considered. What type of power usage do I have? The idea once they've got that is, well, what about the roof? Is the roof that I have suitable that I can put a solar system onto it? Now, many new homes now are being engineered so that you cannot put any solar onto the roof at all. And so if it's a new home, that's a consideration that needs to be made. If that's clear, then do I have enough roof that faces towards the north as best as possible, or even east and west? Not south. South is really not an appropriate way to go. If you want to get an idea of how big a system would need to be, if you take your energy bill usage, so if at home you're using, for example, 20 kilowatt hours a day, divide that by 4, about 5. So that would be a 5 kilowatt system, would basically cover your power needs. Now it may be that you're not home during the day, so a lot of your energy will go out to the street. So that's where you might like to consider, well, batteries. Is batteries an option that I'd like to follow up as well?
Because there's so much information, you guys do provide education and training. Talk to us a little bit about that.
Most of the training that we provide is for those people that are looking at getting accreditation to install and design solar systems. So in the main, there'll be people with an electrical background, maybe an engineer, but it doesn't have to be restricted to that. Right now, we still have some very good government incentives to actually get involved, so it's a great time to actually put a solar system on if you don't have one.
Well, I certainly feel more equipped now to take the next step when it comes to installing solar in my own home. And knowing that the guys at TAFE also offer training, well, it makes me think there could be a career in it for me.
Building ideas, we got some building ideas. You want some building ideas, we got some building ideas.
When you stop and think about it, the building and construction industry has traditionally been very male orientated, but things are changing and it's a lot more common to see women working on building sites and in fact running building projects. And this is largely to the thanks of the Master Builders High Vis Women Building SA initiative.
High Vis celebrates diversity in the building industry and recognises the contribution and success women in particular have had on the industry. It acknowledges outstanding professionals in building and construction, their businesses they've created, the value they've built and the careers they've developed. It's also about those who have developed their trades and businesses to a point where they stand out, not only because of who they are, but because of what they do and their remarkable achievements.
I think there's an enormous amount of scope here. From an admin perspective, a lot of women or girls leave roles and then they go into the building industry and then they decide that maybe there's more to it than this, so they might like to be a building supervisor or the general manager of a building company. So to me, it's all about the education and being able to support that and give them the tools that they need to help them grow.
Well, it's no secret that I'm a massive fan of diversity, whether it's culturally or with gender, and that's why I think it's an excellent idea that the Master Builders have brought out an award for excellence with their naming rights partner, Hanson Youngkin.
Melissa Willington was the recipient of that coveted award, and there's good reason why. She has a diverse background in the building and construction industry, covering residential, civil and commercial works. Melissa joins us today. Melissa, what led you to choose a career in building and construction?
Well, initially I had quite an interest in design and architecture, and probably some of that has come from my mother's influence. She was quite an artist and would draw for me when I was younger, so I developed drawing ability and then looked to study design and architecture at uni. When I graduated, I worked for a residential builder and stayed there for about 5 years, and then that led into commercial and project management and what I'm doing now.
There's no doubt that the High Vis initiative continues to impact the part women play in today's building and construction industry. There's a High Vis committee that meets regularly to ensure the vision and scope of the initiative continues to track in the right direction in order to achieve its vision and aims. The committee members all herald from the industry and span a broad cross-section of areas of expertise.
So if you know someone or you're interested yourself in finding out more about High Vis, then contact the Master Builders Association through their website mbasa.com.au.
What a great initiative High Vis is, and we love segueing from one great initiative to another on this show, Enter Frames, made by TrueCore Steel. Now, if I'm to be honest, I don't think too much about the bones or the frames of my home, but and we should, because they do lead to the structural integrity of your house. Plus, they help make sure you get the best finishes possible. Strong, straight and true. Enter TrueCore Steel. A house frame made from TrueCore Steel is strong and durable, so it'll give a house inner strength for years to come. Frames are prefabricated and dimensionally accurate, so they're straight and true. They won't warp, twist or shrink over time, so the end result will be clean lines and a beautiful finish. Perhaps one of the bonuses for a true core steel frame is that they are simply not on the menu for termites and borers. In fact, they are 100% termite and borer free, so you'll get no little nasty hidden surprises. That is a bonus. Another great bonus is that a true core steel frame will not catch fire, and it may even help you meet the standards required if you're building in a bushfire prone area. They're backed by a 50-year warranty for eligible applicants and have an impressive strength to weight ratio, meaning you can create great open plan living areas and large entertaining spaces. The fact they're insecticide free makes them the ideal living choice. So before you choose the windows and blinds, and before you choose the doors and floors, first choose the one thing that truly supports your whole house, the frames. Build it right. You know, the family home is going to be one of the biggest investments and assets in your life, so it's important that you get it right, and that starts with the framework. You do not want to be going back to redo that. So do your research, find out what works best, and I've got a sneaking suspicion you might come back to true core steel and framing. Now, if you want to know more, you've got two options. You can have a yarn with your local builder, master builder, or you can visit the website, truecore.com.au.
We got some building ideas. You want some building ideas? We got some building ideas.
You know, like with most things in life, it's important to get the basics right, and even more so with your home when it comes to your wet areas. Quite often we see problems in showers and bathrooms, and they're more often than not to do with waterproofing. So it's really important that your master builder gets this right. Naturally, there are several waterproofing systems available on the market today, and countless products as well. So we're going to chat to the people in the know. I'm joined by Chris Wiltshire, Development and Technical Manager at the Master Builders Association. Chris, tell me, what are the most common problems and issues with regards to wet areas and waterproofing?
Well, typically a lot of issues that I find are around the installation of the actual waterproofing product. So either the contractor hasn't installed it as per the manufacturer's recommendations, or they've used the wrong material, so there's a gyprock, as opposed to a waterproof, a water-resistant plasterboard, or they just simply haven't put it where they should have put it.
What are the most common waterproofing techniques?
Well, there's a couple of techniques that you can use. The most common is in a liquid form, like a paint. So it's applied behind the tile and typically in places of most risk. The other thing that, in conjunction with the paint, is silicone, or you can have a tape, which is a stretchable tape. Now, these are applied in corners of the wet area because corners are actually the weakest point within the wet area.
How do you establish if you have a waterproofing or wet area problem?
A lot of the issues are actually behind the tile, so you don't know. But there are a couple of little experiments that you could do. One is to actually tap the tile. If it's hollow or drummy, it's an indication that the adhesive has probably failed, which might be because of excessive moisture. The other thing you can do is a simple experiment. Put the water on the floor. If it runs towards the drain, great. If it actually puddles or seeps into the tile, that could be an issue where you have waterproofing problems.
So what should you do if you suspect you have a wet area problem?
Well, I'll tell you what not to do, and that's just sit on your hands, because the longer you leave it, the more expensive it gets. What I would do is contact Master Builders. We have all the technical advice that you need, and we can also point you in the right direction if you need a trade.
Australian made and owned, Gripset have been providing waterproofing solutions and products for over 30 years. So if you'd like to prevent a waterproofing issue in your home and you want to know more about their great range of products, visit their website, gripset.com.
I have no doubt whatsoever that the waterproofing in this home has been done by the book, in fact by the letter, because this home has been built by Master Builders, Shepard Constructions. And when you look around, the design is very bold. It's expressive and very impressive, I've got to say. And with all the extra inclusions, it just adds that extra oomph. Now, peeping through here, I can see dedication to one's hobby. Betsy. Who, I hear you ask? Betsy, the owner's pride and joy. His immaculate vintage car. Isn't she a beauty? And what a clever design element to integrate. Clever and innovative design is just one of the many aspects that sets Shepard Constructions apart.
In this home, the design brief was to create a single-storey apartment feel for the home's owners, with a visitor's wing upstairs, but without any sense of exclusion between the two areas. The end result is an open, airy atrium feel with absolute connectivity between the two levels. Aside from the strong design brief, there were many environmental considerations taken into account when designing this home, and the fact that it's got a lot of natural step-ups and set-downs with the adjacent properties actually led to a lot of opportunities for access for solar. And also, a lot of the natural vegetation was preserved, which continued the great street appeal. Add to this the close proximity of the eastern residence, which whilst it wasn't overbearing, it did direct the need for vaulted atriums to the southeastern living areas of the design to maximise morning light. There's no doubt this is now a stunning additional feature of the home. When it comes to stunning features, this home has no shortage of them, from the wine room through to the sparkling pool that literally envelops the home. Oh, I'd be hard-pressed to pick my favourite element here, so I think I'm going to combine two. The wine room and the pool. How perfect would that be? Now stay with us because after the break, Terry has some very important information if you're moving house.
We got some building ideas. You want some building ideas? We got some building ideas.
Whether it's your first or your fourth home, whether you're buying to invest or whether you're buying to live in, buying a home is a serious investment. So you've got to make sure that you're dotting your I's and crossing your T's. And there's a lot of those I's and T's to dot and cross. Structural integrity, salt, damp, you name it, you've got to check it. And sadly, there's another one that you have to add to the list in this day and age, and that is testing for meth. Data shows that meth consumption is increasing in South Australia. And within South Australia, there have been a number of high-profile drug lab busts across regional and metropolitan Adelaide. Where illicit drugs, such as methamphetamine, are smoked or manufactured within properties, internal surfaces may become contaminated with toxic residues. These residues are odourless and invisible and can take decades to break down. They can also cause serious health damage for those who come into contact with them by either touching them, breathing them in, or ingesting them. Health effects can be wide-ranging and can include cardiovascular and respiratory symptoms, learning and cognitive impacts, and sleep disturbance. Vulnerable people like children and pregnant women may be at particular risk. Chris Leese is with SA Health. Chris, is meth contamination really something we should be thinking about before purchasing a home or investment property?
It's definitely something to consider, especially if you've given reason to suspect that meth has either been used or produced in a property that you're looking at buying. So we suggest to people that if they have those suspicions, to do some initial testing, because at times it's hard to know whether meth has actually been used or produced in a property. We think it's important for landlords or property owners, particularly if they're renting out a property for a long period of time or leaving a property unoccupied for a long period of time, to check with their insurance company whether they're actually covered for meth contamination and the cleanup that's required afterwards. It's really important because it can be a very expensive process to both test a property as well as clean it up. If people would like to find out more about meth contamination or what to do if they find meth contamination on their property, they can visit the SA Health website, sahealth.sa.gov.au.
It's sad that things have come to this, but it's some sage advice for things to consider and implement when it comes to buying your next home.
Wow, some very serious information. Thanks for letting us know, Terry. Now, on a much happier note, we are in the beautiful home built by Alan Shepard Constructions. And I have to say, this place, it just feels light. It's bright, it's airy, it's got a fantastic feel. And that's not only testament to Alan and his talented team, but also to the homeowners who have clearly put their heart and soul into turning their dream into a reality. I mentioned the pool earlier and how it envelops the home. The living area literally wraps around the pool, creating stunning views and a sense of relaxation and calm. It's absolutely beautiful, and to me, it would be like being on holidays all year round. Oh, what bliss. The master bedroom 2 was positioned to achieve maximum impact with the pool to the south and the grassy knoll to the north, which when combined creates a stunning breezeway. An open pavilion with a light skin of glass being the only protection from the outside environment. What a breathtaking room, really. There are 3.6 metre ceilings downstairs and 2.7 metre ceilings upstairs. Combined, they create 6.75 metre high atriums throughout the home, which have been accentuated beautifully with feature lighting and feature fans.
There's no doubt that this home has set new benchmarks when it comes to luxury living. I mean, look at it. It's spacious, it's elegant, it's got beautiful clean lines. It really just ticks all the boxes. And then when you couple that with environmental consideration, as well as the difficult site they had to build on in the construction phase, you can see why it's been nominated for a Master Builders Award. And practically thinking this time, I also love how many rainwater tanks they have. They have a water catchment capacity of 20,000 litres. Combined with a 26 kilowatt solar system, there's little question that this home is environmentally sustainable. It has a zero fee cost of power operation, and the garden, pool, toilets and laundry are exclusively run from the catchment of on-site rainwater. Wow, how good is that? Not only does this home look sensational, but it's run super efficiently as well. Well, that's nearly it for today's show, but let's have a look what's on next week's show. Terry's going to chat with Josephine Marshall from One Rundle Trading to talk about their latest project. We'll check out the many benefits associated with using natural gas in our homes, and we'll visit an iconic South Australian landmark that is enjoying a new lease on life. It's shaping up to be a really fantastic program, so I hope you can join us then. And in the meantime, I'm going to pretend I'm in some gorgeous resort in Europe. But then again, maybe I should get the owners to take me for a spin in Betsy. See you next week.
Got ideas,
Building
a whole
ideas,
new direction.
building ideas,
It's time for change.
building ideas,
Dreaming is over.
building ideas.
We got some building ideas. You want some building ideas? We got some building ideas.
Building Ideas is proudly brought to you by the Master Builders Association.